Good morning. Welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Ian.
I'm Lauren.
And on a rainy day here in Guelph, Ontario, Canada, wherever you are, we wish you a good morning. And may we stay strong together and play with our strength. Let's start on the floor with head, necks, and ribs in the splits position.
You don't need anything for this workout, just your body weight, and we'll get moving and loosened up. Let's start.
Do it. So to the floor, I'm sure there's going to be some rules as we go forward in today's practice, but come on down anyhow that works for you. From here, sit nice and tall. How are those adductors? How is that low back? How's the body feel? Either have your karate feet or Lauren's plantar flexed or ballet feet. From this tall position, start the head, neck, and flex, meaning chin towards chest. Then extend, chin towards ceiling. Repeat, chin down, crown of head high as you flex. And then extend, looking up. Return your look to the horizon. Then from here, lateral bend, ear towards shoulder. Return through center, ear to shoulder. Using our hands as these outriggers, maybe flex those ankles again, and repeat one more time, ear to shoulder, tall in center, ear to shoulder, repeat to tall. At the head neck for one more, rotation. Sit tall, chin in, rotate over the shoulder. Always aiming to get taller, return through center, and rotate to the other side. Last one each way, slow and steady. Create that length by pulling like a marionette, that head to the ceiling to create room. And it might sound like those Rice Krispies, but hopefully we can create that space in between. Lauren's going to take that same task over as we explore through the rib cage.
Nice, so same idea, still sitting in your splits here. We'll start just as we did with our head neck. So I like to cross my hands because then it's less confusing. Pull on your abs, slightly rounding forward. Now, as you're here, keep your blades pulled together so you're actually flexing through your spine, not just your blades. Cramp on those abs and slowly extend, lifting the heart chest forward. As you do this, check in with your head neck. I still have my chin slightly tucked so that I'm not doing this from the neck. Shoulders are retracted. One more time, pull down on those abs, ribs to hips. And then keep that core tension as you extend your heart chest forward. Breathe in, and then gently relax. Staying up tall, we'll do our little side bends. So we'll lift up, and then a little side bend over. Hang out here for a second, try to breathe, and then use that side to pull yourself back up. Repeat the other way. Again, as you're doing this, check in with that head neck positioning. Are you doing more with your head neck than you are with your rib cage? And back to center. One last time, like a little teapot here. Breathing and center. And one more time the other way. And then center. And growing tall out of our spine, our final one here will be our rotations. Hips stay forward, head comes along with us as we rotate that upper body. And then bring it back to center. Same thing the other way. Feel that core wringing out a little bit, but then use those abs to pull yourself back to center. One last time each way. Growing out the top of the head, breathing and rotating. Your spine is your axis as you rotate one more time. And then gently back to center. Slowly relax. Whew.
From here, we'll find the elbow and establish yourself in a lunging position. That means 90 degrees at the knee and the ankle, and keep that elbow on the floor about in line with the hip on the ground. From here, pull in on that bottom side and extend the butt cheek of the top hip. Feel the pull on the bottom and that extension on that top leg. Then relax. Repeat that again. Pull in on the bottom leg, push through, extending the hip on the top. Then with that hand across chest, let's look to the floor with the head neck. Then let that rotation happen next through the T-spine or that rib cage. Are the hips still forward on the top, back on the bottom? Then look to the ceiling, head, neck first, then open through the rib cage. Repeat one last time as that top hip forward, look down to the floor with the head, rotate through the torso next, check in on those hips positions, then look to the ceiling, rotate through the body, then press through the floor. And in our first mer person here, hang out. Sit nice and tall, create some space, use those outriggers as you need, and then no rules, just switch. Same thing on the other side. Find the elbow, 90 degrees on those knees and hips, and pack the shoulder pushing into the floor. Top hip forward, bottom leg pulling into that hip socket, compressing. Then look to the head, a hand on the floor, shoulder blades are retracted, and then rotate towards the ground. Hips forward, then look to the ceiling. Then rotate through that rib cage up. Is that hip forward on the top, back on the bottom, then look to the ground one more time. Rotate through the rib cage next. Then look to the ceiling. Rotate through the body, press the floor away, and challenge yourself in this mer sits position. With or without those hands. Take the breath. We'll come back to those splits and mermaid positions later. Until then, wrists, Lauren.
Let's flip over here. Oh, yeah. Oh, just get into that all fours position with your fingertips touching the floor. So right now, let's get all 8 fingers down. Your thumbs are up. The finger pads are touching. Can you roll from the baby finger towards the index finger, and then the index finger towards the baby finger? Each time getting those full fingers closer to the floor so that now we have our callus lines down. Pull your shoulders out of your ears, keep your elbows straight, and slowly place your palms on the floor. We'll spread out those fingers nice and wide, and we'll pack our shoulders and pull on the floor, drifting shoulders towards over those fingertips. Then use your fingers and press yourself back, keeping the tailbone nice and long, tilted towards the ceiling. Repeat again. Pack those shoulders, pull on the floor, drifting forward. And then come back to just stacked over top of those wrists. Now with those elbows nice and straight, let's do our first knuckle push-ups. What that means is we push our palms away from the floor, like we're balancing on our tiptoes of our hands. And then the palms or the heels come back down. Repeat. Press the floor away. Control the down. As you do this 3 more times, are your elbows still straight and your shoulders still packed? And that you're performing this both at the same time versus a 1-2. And as well, you're not jumping into this. Last one. Then we'll flick the floor away, shake those out, and we'll do 1 more wrist. This time, palms face away from you. We'll do the same down. So those fingertips come down first, then the full finger callus line, then the palms. Let's gently shrug our shoulders into our ears and then pull them down. And lightly sit back, keeping your elbows nice and straight. This could feel like a lot through the front of the forearm, so just be gentle. And then rock yourself back forward to stack your shoulders over top. Can you add a bend to those elbows this time and sit back a little bit with those bent elbows? And then continue sitting back and your palms will peel away from the floor, and then the fingertips. And flick, shake, lunge.
Lunge time.
Not lunch.
Get into, not lunch yet, not yet. Hips
Cheese.
through. Cheese and soup, it's that kind of day. We'll take a leg through into our lunging position. We calibrate that we're not John Travolta'd and we're nice and leveled through the hips. The back hip is tucked under. The front hip is tipped back like that cow position or scissoring in those hips. For today, press heavily through the front leg with the intention to try to pull this back leg up off the floor. I don't believe it's entirely possible, but heavy tension for a couple more seconds down on the front, stiffening the butt cheek, pulling this leg up. And then relax. 1 more time from this position. Tuck under the back leg, anterior tip, or compress in the femur in the hip on that front side, and press through that front leg with the intention to pull this leg up into the hip. Holy butt cheeks, holy hips. How does that feel? And coast that effort away. Let's heel toe that leg out to the side and repeat the same effort. Are the hips hiked? If so, find level. The back hip, which is this run on my right, will be tucked under. The lateral facing leg is tipped back, which is bound to open up that adductor side here. Now, press heavily through that lateral facing leg with the intention again to try to pull this leg up off the floor. 3, 2, relax the effort. Could we continue to extend that hip through with a butt squeeze? Tailbone tip back on the lateral facing side. And for one more time, press down on that lateral leg. Squeeze your butt cheek in the back. Keep pushing down for 3, 2. Easy on the off switch. Then heel toe that leg to center. Could you get to the toe point? Then make that room in the hip to bring it underneath. Same effort, other side. Hip hike, find your safe level. From here, the back leg again is tucked under while we're compressing that femur bone in the hip in an anterior tip of this front leg. From there, push down through the right side or the front leg, whichever side that is for you. Push down for 5 more seconds. Butt cheeks and hamstrings on the front leg and hopefully hips on that back. And relax. Push your hip through. It probably went back on that relaxed phase, so tuck under and squeeze your glute. Then press down on that front leg. That excites my hamstrings and bum. What about you? 3, 2, and relax. From there, we'll heel toe that leg out to the side. Hip hike. Find that, level position. And then we have this hip in the back, tucked under. We have this leg at the side, slightly tipped back. And for 10 seconds, I'm pressing down through the foot and the hip on this lateral facing side. Burning, Lauren's saying right here. Not burning, but feeling, we'll call it.
No burning.
And then coast. Burning, but not
Ripping.
Yeah, burning. Okay, one more time. The back hip is tucked under. Squeeze your butt cheek. Press through the foot on that lateral facing side. Continue. Try to pull this leg up off the floor. 3, 2, relax that effort. Let's heel toe that leg to the front. Toe in the front if we can, and make room to clear the hip. And then shake out. Hard to read that menu board, but I believe it says down dog planks next. So take it away.
We'll come to first our hands down on the floor. Now, let's extend out to that plank position. So our toes will tuck, reaching behind us and long. Lift the hips higher in the air than you ever thought you should in your plank, where it's actually bad. Now, tuck your hips under, squeeze your glutes, and drop into your tabletop plank position. From here, pull your right hand to your right foot for 3 without moving. 2, 1, switch, pull your left hand to your left foot for 3, 2. Now tilt the tailbone to the ceiling, push your hands forward to lift your hips to the sky, and hang out in your down dog position. Your heels might not touch the floor here. You're trying to tilt that tailbone to the ceiling, breathing, feeling that length through the hamstrings. Now you're going to pull on the floor, pulling yourself back down into that plank. As you pull forward, tuck the hips under, squeezing the glutes. Now this time, pull your right hand to your right foot and your left hand to your left foot at the same time. For 5, squeeze your butts. 4, keep breathing. 3, 2, retilt the tailbone, push the floor forward to lift the hips. Keeping that tailbone long, maybe you have a bit more room in those hamstrings this time. Getting heels closer to the floor. Keep breathing. We'll pull one more time into that plank position. And this time, scooping the hips under, squeezing the glutes, we'll pull right hand to left hip. Then left hand to right hip. Then right hand to left hip and left hand to right hip at the same time for 4, 3, 2, tilt the tailbone towards the ceiling, pressing the hips up. Keep that tailbone nice and long. You may have to bend your knees as you walk your hands back towards your feet. And then we'll hinge yourself up to tall. Whew.
Nice.
That felt nice.
Yeah, warming up that core with those planks. Let's get the toes balanced here and we'll transition back to the floor after that. With the feet in parallel It's those famous or infamous knees over toes. Then the hips come forward, and let's find our first rise. Slow up, hold it for a pose, and slow on the down. Return the knees towards over toes. This time, could you lift up those heels? Hold for a pose, return with control, and then extend the through hips through, and find your toe balance again. Control the down. Now go knees over toes. Lift those heels. Could you sink lower? Then standing on those balls of feet, stand back up nice and tall. Reset heels to the floor. And this time, we'll end up on the ground. Knees over toes. Peel the heels off. Sit low, with or without those hands. Knees to the floor. Extend the hips. Lauren had us hi-ya on that core plank. Let's get a little bit of a front roll series going before we come back to that plank down dog series. For that, set up your hands in a wide shape. We can turn up the hand at the hip or have it placed across the chest. I'll go with the hand at the hip. Look with the head neck to sniff an armpit. Sniffing is optional. Then continue, head through that gateway, shoulder towards floor, and then press through to tall. Establish your hands in that wide position again. Palm turned up at the hip. Look through, reach and roll. Take your breath, and then through. Keep doing this if that's for you. Or, same thing, connect, and just lift the hips up, straightening the knees. Then knees down, push through, set up wide. Same thing other side. Turn the hand up at the hip. Looking through, breathing always. And maybe straighten the knees, lifting your hips over your head. Then back down and through. And repeat that again, or follow me for the last one as you look through, hips over the head, and roll to a tall sit. Establish that wide position one more time, making sure your partner and you aren't going in the same direction, and then turn up the hand at the hip, look through, hips over the head, reach and roll, sit nice and tall. Enjoy that stretch. And finish in that squat. Hi-ya, core tension, but also that suppleness through the core and the back as well. But for another plank series, let's give it to Lauren.
All right. We will come back to, do we want to start crawling first?
Sure.
Yeah, let's elephant. So let's do our plank, and then we'll push up to a down dog and take that for a little walk around here. First, start in your plank position again. Toes are tucked behind you. Hips are lifted into the same line as your shoulders. You're pulling down, you're squeezing your glutes. I'm going to call out railroad tracks. Pull right hand to right foot and left hand to left foot. Then we'll say crossroads. Cross your right hand to your left hip and your left hand to your right hip. Railroad tracks. Crossroads. Railroad tracks. Railroad tracks, tricked ya. Then push forward and back, lifting the hips towards the ceiling, keeping that low back nice and long. We're now in our down dog or our elephant position here. And with opposite hand and foot, we'll take a little step forward. As you're doing this, prioritize that nice long spine, using those hands to flick the floor away, and keep that contralateral gait as we take one or two more steps forward. And then could you keep that position and try a couple steps backwards? Breathing, take your time. You don't have to be moving. You could just be holding that position. Do what feels good. Then come back to center. Let's push those hips back, bending the knees, getting ourselves to that hinge position, and pressing through. Oh, to tall. Oh, movement feels so good.
Movement is a good morning wake up. Feet in the parallel position, and then just pivot out to that first or a narrow squats position. From here, find your balance on those toes. Then slowly return to the floor. Then pull the heels together to go knees over toes. And could you find the balance there? Return the heels to the floor, stand up tall, and again, find that tall balance. The hips are through, the rib cage is down, the butts are squeezed. Return the heels to the floor. Pull yourself down, pull those heels up, keep the heels up, and find your tall stance. Return the heels to the floor. And last one, pull low. Find those demi points. Challenge yourself to get even lower. Then press up tall. Stiffen those knees, squeeze your butts, and return the heels to the ground. Pivot on the heels, add that friendly wiggle, and from the elephants to the... Whoa.
That was my lizard.
Ooh,
I know.
that was a scary sounding
It was
lizard.
something, that's for sure. We'll fold ourselves down, walk out to our plank position, and lizard from there. Our fold will be our gentle chin reaches towards the ceiling, and then a chin tuck. And as you start rolling and rounding forward, you're thinking that each vertebrae is trying to do that. You're trying not to push your hips back behind you, but to keep your weight stacked. So maybe push your weight to the forefoot, but do keep your heels in contact with the floor. There's that wall in front of you, so you're curling nice and tight, knees, nose towards knees. Hang out here for a second. Take a minute. Whew. Then we'll walk ourselves out to that plank position. From that high plank, we'll take our right foot and place it up beside our right hand. Now, let's retract those shoulders and extend that heart chest forward. Reach, energy out your front knee, and energy out your back heel like you're splitting yourself in half. Then pull that tension back into center and try to lift that right foot off the floor and put it back where you got it. Left foot comes up, or the other foot, depending on if you listen to me or not. Knee pushes forward, heel reaches back. Nice long spine, light chin tuck just so we're not chicken necking. Then pull that tension back to center, lift and switch. You can either continue here with me in this stationary position, or, so reaching long, then pulling together, lift and switch. Or you can start moving, taking it for a little bit of a walk where you'd push off your back foot, walk your hands forward to the next plank, and then bring that foot with you. Let's do one more time each side here. Reaching, 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 pulling back to center, and switching. And last time, shoulders retracted, heart chest forward, chin tuck, reach to split, pull back, put those feet back where you got them, tilting the tailbone to the ceiling, lifting the hips, walking the hands back, trying to keep the knees straight this time, and we'll unfold ourselves back to tall. Keep that chin tucked, stack your low back, then your mid back, then your upper back, then your head.
Open up those hips in that lizard stance. Let's utilize those hips in our squat. Open the feet nice and wide, pull the heels together, and get yourself towards your safe low.
I like how I did that.
Take a hand on the inside of the leg and pull the knee off of it. Then reattach that arm hand to the knee and pull the hip knee into that hand. And then relax. Same effort on the other side. Pull the knee away from that hand, then reattach that hand and pull from the hip into the tension provided from the armpit and that stiff elbow. And push to tall. Friendly wiggles and shakes. Repeat that one more time. Adjust your stance as you need. Let's pull ourselves in to get low. A hand or elbow to the leg. Very low tension, but pull the leg away from that hand. Then pull it back, and then pull it forward, feeling that adductor and those glutes. Then chill. Other side, Lauren.
I know, I hate holding a squat.
Same effort,
sorry.
other side. Low effort, just pull away from that arm. Then find it with that shoulder, stiffen the elbow, pull in for 3, 2, relax the effort, and push to tall, heel toes in. That is intense, I agree. Find intensity in those simple movements. like that goddess pose in yoga or that modified horse stance for us here.
From the lizard to the crab.
Whew.
We're going to come down in this next pattern. Be safe as we do this. Pulling yourself back down into that squat position. From here, ideally, you're taking a single hand and placing it behind you. If that doesn't feel good, maybe you just get your hips to the floor and you come down. If it feels okay, you're going to reach your other arm back there. Now, you don't have to do this part. Now, just place your bum on the ground. With your hands or fingertips facing backwards or slightly sideways, pull those shoulder blades together, retracted. Feet are in the floor gripping. Right now, let's scoop our hips underneath us as if to round our low back or bring our hips towards our ribs. Now from here, stay close to the floor as you do this. Tilt your tailbone behind you, lengthening out or arching your low back, but that's only to describe it. Then scoop under, tucking and pulling with your abs. Repeat again. Pull those femurs in, tilting the tailbone to the wall behind you. One more time each way, you use your abs to tuck under as you pull. And then you push those femur bones back to lengthen out and just have a seat on those sit bones. Whew. We're going to progress up into that elevated crab or tabletop position or practice what we just did there. We'll lift up. We'll do one more scoop under, and as we scoop, you're going to keep lifting and scooping and scooping and scooping. Those hips are now extended or glutes are squeezed. To come back down, you'll start by pulling those femurs in, pushing them behind you. That anterior tilt of the hips is going to happen. Light hover on the floor. Repeat again. Tuck the hips into that posterior tilt as you lift and scoop up. And then initiate this move by pulling those femurs in, reaching them back behind you and underneath. And I just like the number 3, so we should try for one more. If you're tired, take a break. Scoop under, lifting those hips up, and then pulling those femurs back in, and then gently resting on the floor. Whew.
Holy abs, holy triceps on that. Amazing.
To stand up, if you'd like a challenge, place your feet back into that squat position. Could you push yourself off of the floor, bringing those hands in front, and then to tall, or any way else that's possible.
Awesome. Let's return one more effort in that squat. Open up your feet nice and wide. Let's pull ourselves to your safe low. Now envision that ceiling encroaching on the headspace and stay low as you push to the other side. I have to stand up a little bit. That's okay. Now from this height, pull yourself across and push. Now keep the hips here. Pull so that the leg bends first, then push to the other side. Stiffen this leg, but then pull it into the floor, keeping your hips stationary. Then feel that push from the other side. One more time each. Pull, then push. And one last time here. Stiffen that leg, but then pull it to bend. Push to the other side. Pull yourself to halfway across. Push your hips through to tall. Heel toes together. And shakes for suppleness and strength. We have one more crawl / pose. That raven or crow. Lauren can't wait to fly away. Let's get it going.
Let's pull ourselves back down into our squat to find this position. Maybe you just hang out and watch in your squat as I show you this, and then Ian can go and you can go with him. Hands find the floor. We'll lift up on our tiptoes. Our knees going to get as close to our armpits as we can. We'll slowly drift forward, loading up those hands. Maybe we keep our toes heavy. Maybe we lift one foot, then the other, or both, finding a balance in our crow hold and breathing. Feel the weight in your fingertips. Feel the weight in your palms. Shift the weight back and forth for 3, 2, toe ball, heel land. Try to hang out in your squat here. And then Ian's going to go here. So those hands connect to the floor. The knees come up high towards the elbows. Finding that bent arm balance, breathing, using the shift in your hands and the weight transfer there to push yourself forward and back. So if you start tipping forward, use your fingers to press yourself back. And if you start going back too far, use those palms to press yourself forward. One more time.
We're hanging out in that campfire squat here. We could either flex out and get as low as we can, or prioritize that extension through the spine. Lauryn, again, is doing that crow, tipping forward and using the power in the hands to bring herself back. Maybe one more time. No, not for me, just based on what's going on for you. Find that squat one more time. Final effort on that crow. Follow along or build that endurance in the squat.
So those hands grip, the knees stack up high. And then again, that weight shift. Being safe, only going to a place where you can safely get out of. Ian's working towards finding his head, but he can also push himself out of this. So just be safe that you don't end up tipping over tea kettle, head over tea kettle, whatever that saying is. Then push down and away and to tall. Maybe take a second because we spent a little bit of time in that squat position. You might get a bit of a head rush.
Head rush. Excellent. Continuing our practice today, working on some nice weight transfers. Let's start with our feet in a parallel position and kick a bum. And then land toe ball heel in the back. There might be that little space between that might be about one length of your foot apart. Stiffen the front leg and push it forward. Bend the back leg on the knee. I said push forward, I meant pull back, because now push forward through the front, push back through the back, and again, try to finish rolling over that toe in the back. Then toe, ball, heel, pull the front leg forward, push the back leg, and then switch that direction as you push to the back, out the back, and finish rolling over the toe. One more time, toe, ball, heel, pull in, scissoring for tension and control, then press away for that power. Finish with the toe and bring the foot underneath. Repeat that same effort on the other side. Butt kick, land toe ball, heel, pull the front leg in, the back leg forward. Then switch, front leg forward, back leg back, like that lunge, and finish with the toe, ball, heel, pull, scissoring those hips for stability, then pushing away for power as we extend, finishing with that toe. Last one, toe, ball, heel, nice and control as we go, and then push to tall and through. Our last animal here today, or crawl shape, will be that hybrid shape, Lauryn. Take us to the amazing hybrid of an elephant and a crab.
Oh, good. Glad you told me the hybrid. All right, we're going to start in our elephant and then we'll be flipping to our crab. Let me show you really quick first and then you can join. Really quick forward fold, do, out to your elephant. From here, it'll go leg first, so leg will reach to the ceiling. Then it's gonna open up. Hands will rotate and pivot, reaching up to your crab position. Then to get back to your elephant, it'll be hand leaves first and then feet follow. All right, here we go. Your version of, if you don't feel like this is for you, maybe you practice just the elephant, just the crab, or some planks to elephant. You choose what's appropriate. Fold yourself down, rolling forward. We'll first walk out to that plank just so we can establish our good elephant position. Tailbone tilts to the ceiling. Push yourself back to that elephant with tailbone long. Now lifting a single leg towards the ceiling, then reaching it over. Then a hand will leave, foot, hand comes down. Keep those hips up. Hand will leave the floor, then foot will leave the floor to that elephant position again. Foot leaves the floor, hand leaves the floor.
Switch directions?
Well, I'm just giving you room. And come back up to that crab position. And then hand leaves the floor, foot leaves the floor to that elephant. Let's do 2 more flips each way. Maybe you kept going in the same direction, or like us, You ran out of space. Take your time. Each time, hand, then foot into that elephant, and back to where you came from, foot, and then hand leaves, pushing to that tabletop crab position, and last time, hand, and then foot. Breathe, walk your hands back to your feet in that forward fold position, and then slowly stack yourself up to tall head last. Whew.
Excellent. We've gone front, we've gone back. Let's take one more time working out on those diagonals. Let's start like we would for our movement clock, where a knee would come forward, then open up to that 10 or 2 position. Then point, land, toe ball, heel. We'll stay on this diagonal for 3 repetitions. First, pull together. By pulling together, it could create that stability where the body might allow you to bend that knee towards over the toe. Then from here, push all the way towards a toe point and a stiff leg on the standing side. Then it's the toe, the ball, the heel. Pull together, encourage that front leg to bend, and this back leg stays stiff the whole time. Then push away for power, point all the way towards the toe with that hip forward on the back side. Toe, ball, heel, last repetition, pull. Feel the adductors, feel that preload, encourage the knee towards over toe, then push away for power, and this time push so much and assemble together. Same effort on the other diagonal. Knee to the front, then open to that 10 or 2, point, land, toe ball, heel. Pull, continue pulling to increase the knee towards over the toe habit, then push away, squeeze your back butt cheek, and finish with the toe. Toe, ball, heel, pull, preload for stability. Then push away for tension and control. Last time, toe, ball, heel, pull, hips level. Continue that knee over toe habit, stiffen the back leg, push, and assemble together. And shake out. We like working on our handstands. Do you like working on your handstand? Those crawling shapes that we've shared with you this morning aim to get us towards the handstand. I like to perform one quick set of kick-ups and join us in a kick-up series, and follow that with our ultimate challenge today of holding your favorite pose for 1 minute. Lauren will start with her tripod kick-up variation. Hands to the floor and a 3-point stance. She does her little down dog effort there, sets it up just right. Kicking the ceiling, holding a pose, that was a good one, and down. Just a couple in a row. How does upside down feel for you? We want to taste or test that upside downness in the things like the crow and then the elephant, etc. And then we can start to play in our handstand like Lauren.
All right, Ian's going to do his favorite entry, which is the step in. So taking that single leg forward, reaching the arms up in the air to start, and creating that hollow position right from the beginning. You're trying to get stacked hands, shoulders, hips, toes, growing tall. But right now, just alternating that kick-up leg to warm up the feelings of upside down.
So now that we're feeling warm, confident, or at least going to try to get into those handstands, play with your favorite crawling shape upwards of a minute to build endurance, awareness, and strength for other fun movements like the handstand. Ready to go? 5, 4, hold a pose, have fun. 3, 2, go.
What time did you start at?
The second hand was at the 9.
10 more seconds.
Darn it.
55 seconds.
Continuing to work. And oh my goodness, those wrists are in a safe way saying that is it for the day. And I agree.
So you started at the 9. I ended at the
9.
6 there. Okay.
Nice, nice.
One kick up before.
It's not bad for the first handstand of the day. Not bad. I love this practice. I love training with Lauryn here in the studio and sharing with you online. Thank you very much for being here on either a rainy Saturday or any other time in the archive. We'll be back next weekend, maybe doing our...
Well, I'm wondering if you have any other animals you'd like to add to our collection. I don't know what this one might be, but maybe you have an idea. So send us an email,
kind of a
drop us a chat,
chicken without those wings.
Leave a comment. Make sure you like the video.
You got
Thanks
it.
for joining. My name's Lauryn.
I'm Ian.
And together, we stay strong. Take care, and we'll train soon. Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.